Greetings, travelers. Last time in this series, I took a big dump on A Realm Reborn and how much it sucks. Today I'm going to give you the speedy version of Heavensward, the expansion, and explain that while A Realm Reborn revived the game, Heavensward is what gave the game life. If you need a recap on the story up until this point, you could just watch my other video, but really, nothing happened in A Realm Reborn. All you need to know is that there is a group of people called the Scions who are framed for a political coup. There are 4 city-states that exist, 3 that talk to each other, and 1 that is feudal Japan in the way that they are isolated from the rest of the world. We, as part of the Scions, escaped the framed political crew with a depressed guy named Alphino thanks to the help of a guy named Pippin, who is the adopted son of Raubon, who is a cool guy who lost his arm after defeating a hedge fund owner. Also, you repelled the Empire invasion and are very cool. And this small lady named Tataru also escaped with you and Emofinode. And that's all you need to know about how we got here. Okay, one other important thing I didn't mention. Dragons are constantly at war with Ishgard, and it is believed they are scaling up for a bigger attack. So you did go up to the corpse of a big dragon so that you could investigate. Midgard-Sormr, the big dragon corpse, attacks you from the Death Realm and blasts you right in the boobs, where you lose the blessing of the Crystal Lady that made you special. That's right, all the hard work that you didn't do in A Realm Reborn is instantly undone by Midgard-Sormr, who is now really small and following you around. This might seem a bit random, but it is actually important. The story continues with us getting into Ishgard thanks to the good deeds that we did for a very special person named Harshaphant. This man uses his influence within House 4 temps to get you that pass into Ishgard, which makes sense after all the help that you did for him, especially in dealing with a group of heretics, as they are called, that sympathize with the dragons Ishgard is constantly at war with. However, his influence is only so great, and the real person he has to employ is Sir Aymeric, who is a military leader within Ishgard itself. Aymeric and Harshaphant both want to help the Warrior of Light, but it took them all the way until now, because they had to convince many people behind the scenes, while buying time for the development team to make Ishgard an actual place. So after that annoying trial on a bridge and defeating a lady who got so angry she turned into a primal, you can now sit with the Ishgardians at lunch. Immediately after dramatically entering the coldest city in Eorzea, you probably wonder how this place sustains itself because they definitely can't grow any food around here. But oh well, that's not really important. What is important is the head of House 4 Temp's mustache. Damn, he looking fine. So remember when I told you that Harshaphant and Aymeric got you into Ishgard? Ha! It was also this guy who vouched for you, and decided to take you under his house's name. The political structure of Ishgard is kind of important to the plot, so there are 3 houses, each of which have some political responsibility. House 4 Taw is the one that vouched for you. You can view the houses as elites that got their status from their ancestors who are very special, and thus, these families rule over Ishgard. However, they also technically serve under the true leader of Ishgard, which is also the head of their church, and that's pretty much it. After all this stuff, it's time to take a tour of the city. You figure everyone in town would be surprised at an outsider walking in, and no one cares. Markets say, well, if you have money, I don't care who you are. This tavern over here says, if you have money, I don't care who you are. So the fact that you're an outsider phases quite literally no one in town. The only thing that you offer is an outside view of their weird social structure. The people at the top of Ishgard, both literally and figuratively, live a life of luxury. Their houses are nice and the defenses are fortified, but the common folk who live further down in the Broom are most affected by the attacks from the Dravinians. Hilariously, the Forgotten Knight serves both expensive and poor clientele, and offers a perfect view into the world of Ishgard. Tataru, the lady of culture that she is, decides to hang out in the tavern and collect information and not get totally wasted. Alphino also wants to gather some info, but realizes that there is a lot of work to do in Ishgard after the most recent attack. Thus he says that you will help House 4 Temps take care of some chores after the most recent incident. You now have the choice of which brother you want to help with. First, decisions here only affect what order you do these quests in, so I chose the older, more responsible brother first. In order to help out, we do find out that there are some heretics lurking about, and finding them really isn't that important. What is important is that you find the secret hideout for these evil people. And boom, it's Angry Lady who turned into a primal that one time. She is about to attack you when Midgard-Sormr pops out and says that you are cool with the dragons. Kind of. Her name is Isael, by the way, and she doesn't introduce herself right now, but I'm spoiling it. And she says that she has the Echo and has learned the truth of the Dragon Song War. Important aside, the Echo is a trait that the Warrior of Light has that both gives them tremendous strength, but also the ability to peer into the past of others that they come in contact with. Multiple people in the universe have the Echo, and while there are some differences, everyone that has it can generally see visions of people's past. They do this whenever they need to explain something in the plot by seeing it rather than saying it. So Isael says that the church is actually bad and that the people are the ones who betrayed the dragons long ago. Keep in mind, she did help the dragons breach the wards and kill a bunch of Ishgardians very recently, but you decide to let her go anyways, and thus you have helped the older brother with something. Now, helping the second son who wants to become cooler than his older brother, you go to an area where the outpost leader is exceptionally friendly. This is because you helped her brother back in A Realm Reborn, preventing him by being executed from a crime that he did not commit. And you might wonder why I skipped over something so important, but it's because you're never going to see this lady again, nor is her clear affection for you relevant either. Although Amelien doesn't seem to realize that he is not welcome here. Long story short, the Beast Tribe is being a jerk, this brother goes in way over his head and is captured by the Beast Tribe and you have to help him escape. Absolutely wild. Back at the tavern, Tataru and Alphino are now arrested for heresy. Great. These people from one of the houses are essentially so powerful that whatever they say has to be true. But the court says the best way to resolve this is trial by combat. Finally, time to beat some people up. After humiliating these weirdos with your awesome might, Haurchefant gets so excited he gives you a big, black chocobo. Alright, it's time to meet the big, spooky leader who reveals that the Ashians have been whispering things to him for a while, to the surprise of no one, except Alphino, who tells the player how surprised they should be. Uh-oh, detour alert. The bad story from A Realm Reborn is creeping back. Merleweb, the kind of leader of Limsa, says that she still likes you and that Raubon has been moved somewhere while in prison. The Rising Stones have been taken over by the Blue Grand Company that Alphino mismanaged, and thankfully that one good person from A Realm Reborn is helping you gain intelligence from within more donut. It turned out that Big Manly Man is going to be executed and the ninjas team up with you to save Raubon from certain death, only to receive a message to return to the Waking Sands. No way! I thought everyone got deleted when there was that big flash of light. After doing the most A Realm Reborn thing that you can imagine, you find Urianger, Pippin, and Papashan at the Waking Sands. This messenger works for another member of the elite in Ul'dah and says that the Sultana is not murdered and is in fact alive somewhere. Alright, back to the good story. You decided the best course of action is to try to talk to the dragons, believing that Isael might be able to help you reason with them. Astinian, the biggest Chad in all of Ishgard, who channels the power of Nidhogg's Eye, says that he wants to join you on this endeavor, and thus the real journey begins. You quite literally make a smoke signal to summon Ice Lady, and then boom, she shows up and you have a friendly conversation. She states that trying to reason with Nidhogg is a fool's errand, but maybe you can reason with Hraesvelgr, another big dragon. Now, to get to the dragon homeland, you're going to have to do some chores, of which this is not that important, but what is important is that the reason that this friendly dragon cannot leave is that the local beast tribe keeps trying to summon their primal. No, please just go away. So you attempt to stop the tribe, only for them to not care and summon their god. Isael turns into a primal again and instantly gets defeated because we need to have another trial. Thus, we fight Ravana, the coolest of all the primals. He uses Cloud's Omni Slash and even respects you for your insane display of power. So you beat him up and now it's back onto the beaten path. You now have permission to enter a dungeon to get to Salm Awe. Getting to the summit, you have a group of Mughals who won't talk to you, so you implore the heart of Khan-e Senna as the writers find a way to still make A Realm Reborn relevant to the plot. Doing chores for these little jerks finally gets you to Zenith, where you can talk to the Big Daddy Dragon. Now, there is something that I need to recap with here because it's important. Isael believes herself to be the reincarnation of Shiva, the human lover of Hraesvelgr from many, many years ago. So when the crew summons Hraesvelgr, the first thing she does is state as much, giddy with excitement. Although the dragon is not happy to see anyone from elven kind, which I think is just funny at this point. Complete aside, but my character is a cat girl, so I guess I'm not included in this blanket statement of disdain. To the dismay of Isael, though, Hraesvelgr says that while Esau saw visions of Shiva, she is not the reincarnation of his lover. She simply convinced herself of that herself. He has no desire to end the war, even though he isn't orchestrating it. He, too, lost a sister to the Elezen many years ago. It's important to realize that dragons have enormous lifespans, so while this happened in ancient history to Ishgard, it is the equivalent of it happening last week to the Dravinians. Thus, this attempt to parlay is thrown out and he bids you a spiteful goodbye. I didn't have a good place to throw this in, but while I'm interrupting my train of thought, hey people, it's Misshapen Chair here. Allow me to be a generic YouTube personality and demand that you subscribe to me if you haven't already. I am still planning on doing a karaoke live stream at 10,000 subscribers just to make everyone suffer. You can always help me out more by liking the videos and all the other things that you can imagine to help exploit the YouTube algorithm.
Yes, my lord, we must continue to spread our message.
Now back to my plot synopsis. What I like so much about this journey is just how hilarious Isael and Estinian are together. These two characters always juxtaposed, where Isael was always so happy and ready to jerk off any dragon that she meets, and Estinian is always sitting around like, please give me an excuse to murder you in cold blood. What I always find hilarious is despite how much smack Estinian talks, he never acts on it. And despite him and Isael arguing the entire time, they still just keep traveling together. I'm not going to go too much into my thoughts during the synopsis itself, but I can't understate how great this dynamic is played between the characters. Estinian fully believes this parlay will fail, but he commits to it anyways because a peaceful option, despite seemingly impossible, would still be great even if the chances are next to nothing. Isael, on the other hand, who believes this endeavor is almost to be futile as well, just has to disagree with Estinian because of how much she doesn't want to agree with him on anything. Ultimately, with this negotiation failing, Estinian pretty much accepts the truth that mankind was probably responsible for starting the war, but he's also smart enough to realize that Nidhogg is the mastermind coordinating attacks, and killing him would ultimately put a massive wrench into this endless war. He acknowledges that his ancestors are at fault, but that doesn't mean he's going to pass up on this opportunity to end the war or beg for forgiveness for something he wasn't directly involved in. In other words, you gotta do what you gotta do. So the next best course of action is taking the fight to Nidhogg in his own lair, leaving Isael to be mind-broken to herself. After fighting more dragons, you find that Nidhogg's lair is surrounded by annoying wind. Only one person could possibly be smart enough to defeat wind. That's right, we're going to have to find Sid. Alphino thinks that maybe Amelian might know where Sid is, and he just happens to be in Ishgard for plot convenience reasons. He says that they have a new piece of technology that will probably get the job done, but they have to finish it first, and thus it's time to kill some more time, the only way that you know how, going back to a realm reborn. The Sultana is still probably alive, says Tataru, so you find her, servant? And find out that this whole use poison to put her to sleep plot was actually all this guy's idea, and he just wanted to get that one annoying dude out of the picture. And so he gives you medicine to wake up the Sultana. Absolutely nutty. The Sultana wakes up, and now it's time to get rid of that Blue Grand Company. Too bad you don't get to have those uniforms. In any case, if my jokes have made this way too complicated to understand, the Crystal Braves, as they are called, were made by Alphino as a way to have a grand company with allegiance to the Scions and not to any of the city-states to form a defense force for all of Eorzea. But they were bought by Teleji and betrayed the Scions under the leadership of Ilberd. Since Ilberd's defeat, who is the head of this betrayal, the only people left in the Crystal Braves at this point are going to swear loyalty even if Alphino wants to dissolve them anyways. And so, the Dolmens continue to live in Mordona. Alright, now we can get to Nidhogg's lair, but not before finishing a conversation with this handsome man who wants to fight with us, but we're going to tell him no. So you defeat Nidhogg, and you have a vision of when Nidhogg was originally defeated, he lost both of his eyes, which kind of confuses Estinian because he just ripped one out right now, and last time he checked, dragons only have 2 eyes because they aren't samurai. Alright, that's it. Hraesvelgr, we need to know what's going on. But before he can give you an answer, you're going to have another vision, which you can see that he gave one of his eyes to his brother to start a war against Ishgard. That's right, the key piece in this puzzle is that despite Hraesvelgr stating that he was indifferent to the war, he was actually one of the people who initially orchestrated it. The heretics in Ishgard start another battle only to be persuaded to stop by Isael. One thing that remains clear to absolutely everyone now, the tale that Ishgard is responsible for starting the war is absolutely true, and the very foundation of their culture's belief is a lie. Thus, Haurchefant wants to have a friendly conversation with the Pope. Wait, why does he have a sword in his hand? Sir Aymeric also wants to talk to the now certainly evil church, only for us to find out that he is actually the bastard child of the holy man. Alright, I'm not really sure how that changes anything. We're interrupted by this cool looking lady named Hilda who prevents Tataru from being assaulted by an annoying cult member asking her for her membership. She likes us so much that she'll help us by attacking the church by distracting the knights while you infiltrate the vault. Man, these guys are turning into some spooky boys. Sir Aymeric is trying to convince his biological father not to run away. Oh, that went real well. And now, here we are. The most important scene in all of Heavensward. While walking across the bridge, the Final Fantasy XIV equivalent of a Goomba tries to kill the Warrior of Light, only for Haurchefant to block the attack and die to protect us. This death, single-handedly, had very little effect on me whatsoever. You can call me cold-hearted, but I do think that character deaths can just be very weird sometimes. If the Pope was the one that had thrown out this attack, I feel like this would have had a lot more impact on me. But instead, it's just some random dude that I don't even care about. Maybe it's supposed to show the indifference of war, but I digress. It's still sad to lose one of the bigger bros in the game. But I hate this win the fight and lose in the cutscene shit, so I think that annoyance overwrit my humanity, filling me with unbridled rage for that instead. So we end up mourning the loss of a close friend. Alright, it's time to track down the Pope. He's in the clouds. I know a guy who knows how to fly. Uh-oh, beast tribe alert. I hope they don't summon a... You gotta be kidding me. Okay, I guess they didn't really summon this primal, it's just kind of there. But still. Well, time to kill a bunch of random enemies and somehow defeat Bismarck. This lady is actually made of garlic, and the Empire shows up again because they have to be relevant somehow. The Church summons a big floating island of powerful, elegant technology. Wait a minute, did someone say flying again? I wonder if there's someone who could do that. Oh, no! We need the help of someone who knows how to use magic. Alright, where's the cat bitch at, huh? Oh, the ether stream. Well, time to fish a cat out of the ether stream. Ishtola, who's now totally blind, yep, can't see a thing other than your yee-yee ass haircut, guess she has no emotions now. Ishtola does know the answer to the ultimate question of the universe, but she doesn't know what the question is. But she does know the person who knows the question. It's her old master, Matoya. Yeah, we made it to Idleshire and we're now in the other lung of the Dravinian hinterlands. It is time to find this top-tier waifu. There she is! Alright, let's do some chores, explore a spooky library, and now we have the thing that we need. But before you go, you get the Shield of Haurchefant as a memoir. To break the barrier, Estenian helps us with the eye, and Isel also just dies. Okay, she did block an attack to protect us, but I'm not really sure how she convinced the rest of the dragons to help us, but she did, and then instantly dies. Another lack of humanity moment for me, but I do think it's just funny that the first time we fight Isil, it's an actual fight. When she turns into a primal the second time, she just gets her ass beat, and the third time she does it, she just dies. This means that the fourth time that we summon Shiva is probably going to be a joke. Oh god. Well, we're in Allegan Land. There's another dragon here, and now Midgar Sormer is a mount. Guess the blessing of light is back, baby. Oh look, the Empire's here too. Time to beat them up on the way to the core. The original Dragoon lost control to the eye many years ago. Damn, who could have seen that coming? And now the Pope is called Thoradin, and we're gonna beat him up. We did it. We defeated the cult leader, and Ishgard can finally join the Galactic Federation. And so, that's the end of Heavensward without the patches. Wait a minute, Estinian, why did you grab both the eyes at the same time? And there he goes. Yep, he lost control. Well, roll the credits. I'm sure that's not going to come back to bite us in the ass. Alright, welcome to the patches. Unsurprisingly, Ishgard's a little shaky thanks to overthrowing the government. People still distrust the dragons because they were just murdering everyone about, last week. Well, anyways, time to let the masses know that everything that happened and that everything is a lie. Also, trying to be diplomatic with the dragons again is probably a solid plan. Although, considering that Ishtola yoked everyone into the Aether, including herself, maybe it makes sense to try to find the rest of the Scions as well. The person who's going to help you do that is Kryl, friend of the Waking Sand Girl and the twins. Also, Kryl too has the Echo. Anyways, we know where Thancred is now, time to go find him. Oh look, it's that Primal again, except they're defeated by... Wait a minute, I know that guy! You're from Shadowbringers. We're not even at that part of the story yet. Yes, I am the Warrior of Darkness. It's time to fight and save our world. Alright, we're equals. Bye-bye. Anyways, the Nath leader is happy that the Primal is gone and will now allow Aymeric to parlay with the dragons. Yes, that is why we needed to do this. Thancred is back, but he can't use magic anymore. But he's still magical to me. Things are going a little too well, so a group of people calling themselves the True Brothers of the Faith have taken over the vault and captured a bunch of citizens. Thus, after losing all but one hostage, this guy thinks the best course of action is to kill an innocent child. Yeah, buddy, that's going to get people on your side. This is madness! Madness? This is Ishgard! Oh, thank God we now have the flying people on our side. Alright, citizens of Ishgard, the people loyal to the church just tried to kill an innocent child, but the dragon saved her. Which one of these is probably the good guy here? You need to think about it? Okay. Well, at least House Fortant is doing alright. Oh, hey, look, some more Scions. Hey, where's Minfilia? Man, why does everyone keep asking about her? Alright. No one knows if we can even find her. The only Scions left to find at this point are Useless Leader, the Punchy Girl, and Small Magic Man. So we're going to go back to the old lady to figure out what happened to Useless Leader. Alright, time to go to the Anti-Tower, which I know you ran 6 times for that somewhat recent relic step. And guess what? Minfilia is in the Aether, but now she is Hydaelyn, you know, God herself. Still useless, though. Thancred's probably not going to take this well. Oh, I guess he's not too upset. Well, anyways, back to the dragons. But first, let's eat some food. Oh, and they drugged me. Yeah, take notes here, villains. Just offer some poison food to the Warrior of Light and they're going to be dead instantly. So this lady says that she still doesn't like the dragons. Are Emilion? How you going to fix this? Shoot her? Are you stupid or dumb? And so the dragon haters beat up a small Terracos Honorit because he is associated with this guy. Well, Emilion does decide to accept responsibility. Of course he fucking doesn't. Thancred gets pretty heated about this. Emilion tries to say that Thancred knows nothing of failure, which goes about as well as you would probably expect. So going back to Imrik, he tells us that Ishgard is a nation built on warfare, which, I mean, is probably pretty obvious at this point. He decides that embracing their military strength might resonate more with its citizens. So it's time for a mock battle, where you show Ishgard's strength by fighting for them in their place. Also, this is somehow Emilion's redemption arc. Don't worry about it. Alright, finally, back to the negotiating table. The dragons are happy. Oh, wait a minute. Did I forget something? Ah, yes, it's Estinian who's now Nidhogg. Well, hopefully we can get the dragons to help. Oh, we're going to have to prove ourselves first. And so, we defeat Nidhogg at full strength, who is possessing Estinian's body. So I guess the brain is stored in the eyes? Yeah, I don't really get it. After our victory, we remove the eyes from Estinian, which is difficult, but an ephemeral being helps us, and we free the eyes from Estinian without killing him, casting the eyes into the abyss where they absolutely will not come back into the plot 5 hours after the end of Heavensward. Well, that's the true end. It turns out that the voiceover was just this guy writing a novel, and Estinian finally wakes up, fully in control of his body. Estinian decides that the war can officially be declared over, and Aymeric is going to lead Ishgard to a new government free from tyranny. Now, you might think I was going to sarcastically summarize the story, but let me just hit you with my opinion right now. Overall, 9 chocobos out of 10. Heavensward is mostly a self-contained storyline. Sure, it does make its calls to other parts of the greater narrative, but the Dragon Song War is something totally contained in the sense that it is unique to Heavensward. A Realm Reborn might have been a slog, but most players genuinely enjoy playing through the main story of Heavensward. I am no exception. It's a mix of multiple perspectives of how war can bring people to power and that it encourages those in power to keep the war going, while also giving into some fantasy ideas that the lifespan of creatures can affect this perspective. For the dragons who live for so long, it feels like the betrayal of 1,000 years ago is still recent, while for the Ishgardians, they remember the pain that was inflicted on them very recently, even if their ancestors are ultimately responsible for the initial betrayal. Only through a combined effort can peace truly be made from both parties, and they have to continue working together to make a path going forward. Removing Nidhogg, who was the main instigator, might have helped, but ultimately, no one was guiltless, and everyone has to make some changes. It has a character cast that is very entertaining and captivating. I like highlighting the differences between Isel and Estinian. Isel, who idolizes the dragons and believes herself to be correct, and Estinian, who despite his bitter hatred, is willing to learn and accept the truth. I think there's a lot of points that will end up lingering in your mind for many hours afterwards, and it is worth paying attention to. With a concluding climax where you finally save one friend, proving that not all sacrifices were in vain. And now let's get out there and put some more politics in video games.